What's happening? I'm Dale and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Readwise. I discovered this app a little while ago and I've been using it for a bit, so I figured I'd give a little rundown just in case anyone's interested. Based on my experiences so far, I have to say it's an absolute requirement for anyone that wants to actually remember the things that they're reading, whether that be maybe a student of some sort or someone like myself who tends to consume a lot of information. Before we get into it, I'll just let you know, so I'm going to be breaking this up into a couple of different sections, so feel free to use the timestamps down below to hop around to the stuff that's most relevant to you. So first thing I'm going to try to do is cover what problem is Readwise actually trying to solve. The next thing I'll cover is how it goes about trying to solve that problem. And last, I'll cover my workflow just in case anyone's interested in sort of seeing it in action and the benefits that it could potentially bring to them. All right, so what is Readwise and what problem are they actually trying to solve? Well, so according to their website, it says Readwise helps thousands of readers get the most out of their digital highlights. Get the most is a little vague, so I'm gonna try to fill in the blanks here. What it does is it creates a system that can actually collect all of your various highlights across your books, articles, videos, or even podcasts. To be honest, up until now, I hadn't highlighted anything in a book since university because, frankly, I didn't see the point in it. I knew that I wasn't going to reread those highlights because, let's be honest, ain't nobody got time for that. The result is that even though I consumed a ton of information, I had a really hard time remembering any of it. I would read an interesting book or listen to a podcast or watch some sort of mind-blowing TED Talk that I was sure would change my life. And then a month later, it was just a distant memory. And because I wasn't remembering any of the things that I was reading, I wasn't able to apply any of these concepts or get any value in my day-to-day life. And here I feel like Readwise has something that's going to solve that problem. All right, how does it go about solving that problem? Well, it does it in two different ways. Number one is the daily digest. Readwise helps keep the highlights that you make fresh in your mind through use of something that it calls a daily digest. The daily digest is a grouping of highlights that you can configure that'll be sent out to you either via email, or if you get the app, you can just browse to that and run through your daily highlights. Now, let me tell you why I think that this is an actual game changer for the way that you can consume information. So, unless you happen to be a super nerd like myself, you may not have heard about something called the Spaced Repetition System, or SRS for short. And essentially what this is it's a system for making sure that you get any content that you consume into your long-term memory. Generally, when you learn something, if you don't use it again in the near future, your ability to recall that information drops significantly over a period of time. With SRS, at certain intervals, you reintroduce the information. And every time that information is reintroduced, it helps solidify the information in your mind, and you're more likely to remember it for longer. Okay, so why am I talking about this? Well, this daily digest is essentially a spaced repetition system for your highlights for any of the content that you're consuming. So either through an email newsletter or going through the app on a daily basis, what you're doing is you're reintroducing this information to your mind at periodic intervals and making sure that it sort of sits into your long-term memory. I think this is awesome. Even if you're not trying to memorize the information, I think that this system can be really powerful for making sure and keeping certain concepts that you're consuming at the front of your mind. It's effectively like, hey, remember those personal finance blogs that you were reading like 6 months ago? Those are still a thing. You probably don't need a PS5 right now. All right, The second piece of the puzzle, number 2, is that Readwise allows you to export your highlights to an external note-taking system like Roam Research or Notion or Evernote, or even to just a CSV file. So once you have that data, you can do with it what you want. So if you have your own system, or you want to maybe collect all the highlights together and sort of drill down and make some other notes yourselves out of that, then you can do that then. The ability to have an easily searchable group of the highlights of all the information that you've consumed, to me seems really powerful as someone that has a tendency to read a lot of books. Okay, now for my workflow. So how am I taking advantage of Readwise in my day-to-day life? So for books, I used to always use physical books. I like the pages, I like the feel. This actually got me to switch to a Kindle. So now I can highlight everything in the book and then it just automatically syncs up to Readwise, and then I can review those later or export those into Notion. So the benefit to me is that I don't have now just a book that sits on the shelf that I don't remember anything about anymore. Okay, so here is the Readwise homepage, where, as you can see, it sort of has a listing of all your different highlights from books and articles, and then your imports and exports. So imports is all the highlight sources that you can bring in. So I head on over to Instapaper. So this is my homepage for Instapaper, which just has all the various articles that I would like to read, which I haven't gotten around to yet. So this is articles, blog articles, scientific journals, anything like that. Generally someone, recommends something to you, you don't have time to check it out at the time, so you can just add it in here and get around to it whenever you get some time. And that's what I've been doing. So if I click on one of these, for instance, this takes you into the Instapaper's embedded reader. And this is where you can highlight the articles, and then those highlights get exported into Readwise. I also added, which is a really cool feature of Instapaper, I'm not sure if Pocket has it, but you can forward emails to you, essentially yourself. You get an Instapaper email account, and what I did is for newsletters that are interesting, I'll just set up an automatic filter that will forward the email directly to Instapaper. So any of those show up over here in Instapaper under articles. You can see all the articles here. But what also shows up under articles are videos. So I talked a little bit about annotate.tv, which is really cool. So these are highlights that I actually took from a video. As you can see, it's got the timestamp there. So if you're listening to TED Talks or tutorials and you want to take notes and find things that you want to reference later, you can hop on over. So this is annotate.tv. This is the video I was showing there. And you can essentially watch the video, and it has a transcript there. So there's an editor, preview, transcript. So this transcript, you can hop around in the video by selecting different text, and that takes you to that point in the video. And then also you can create annotations as you're going through the video just by highlighting. Same idea, highlight, click create new annotation. These are all the ones that I took over here in the sidebar. It'll add it over there, and then those get imported into Readwise as well. All right, now for exports, as you can see, I have connected here Notion. So if I open up my Notion library, what you can see is that there is a Readwise database in the library, which has books, articles, tweets, podcasts. I don't have any tweets and podcasts, but books and articles I got a decent amount of. Those all show up in here. The number of highlights, your author, your title, it's got certain data that it'll automatically bring in, but you can also add more data, which is really neat. So I've been adding, for instance, genres to various stuff that I've been highlighting, so I can use that to filter or sort certain types of information. And for my purposes, as I'm looking into trying to create videos for YouTube, I'm trying to essentially research various topics. So I'm planning on doing something on gratitude. So I have a bunch of different topics on gratitude here. And then I've created a reference to a separate database, which I use to compile essentially all my thoughts. So here I have this separate topic, and then all this information which is associated with that, and then this is going to be where I'll have my brain dump. Various concepts, interesting information that I want to talk about, and then any video ideas that come from that. And so that's really cool in the sense that you can create relationships to other databases, you can compile all your information and boil it down, create your own thoughts from those highlights. So that's something that I really like from that. And over here with books, if I hop on over here, for instance, to this one, Digital Minimalism, where I use those annotations with the chapters and everything like that, those show up in here as well, which is really nice. So you can see as I cruise around there, you get this table of contents that you can hop around to different areas, and that's really nice. Yeah, I haven't finished this yet, so this is all empty, but you can sort of see what that looks like. And that is everything I had today. If you like this content, please be sure to smash the like button and leave a comment down below letting me know what you liked, letting me know what you didn't like. And if you did like this content, then hopefully I will catch you next time. Peace.